Welcome to HD Rare Coins, your ultimate source for rare coins, fascinating history, and the thrill of discovery. From legendary pennies to hidden gems, we explore the world of numismatics one amazing coin at a time. It was a cool morning in Beijing. The streets hummed gently as the first wave of bicycles rolled past ancient alleyways and rising skyscrapers alike. Amid the slow rhythm of the city waking up, few would ever guess that tucked deep within a simple red velvet pouch in a modest collector's shelf sat a coin no larger than a fingernail, small, unassuming, yet bearing a story that would one day stun the numismatic world. That coin was the 2008 China 5 Wu Jiao. To the average passerby, it would seem like just another piece of spare change. After all, millions of coins pass through people's hands every day, used to buy street food, subway tickets, or perhaps slipped into tip jars. But not this coin. This one was different. This one carried a silent legacy of artistry, scarcity, and astonishing value, one that would only be recognized years after it quietly entered circulation. The journey of the 5 Wu Jiao coin began in the heart of China's evolving economy. By 2008, China was a nation in transformation, hosting the world's eyes during the Beijing Olympics, redefining its global identity, and refining every symbol of national pride, down to the very coins it minted. The 5 Jiao denomination, which equals half a yuan, had long been a workhorse of Chinese commerce. Yet in 2008, a unique issue would capture the imaginations of collectors, historians, and dealers around the world. This particular version of the 5 Wu Jiao wasn't immediately special in appearance. Composed of a nickel-plated steel alloy, the coin measured 24.9 mm in diameter and had a reeded edge. Its face displayed the iconic Wu Jiao characters in bold font, standing firm beneath the denomination 5, and flanked by stylized grain stalks, a quiet nod to the nation's agricultural roots and working-class identity. On the reverse, the image of a chrysanthemum, meticulously detailed, softly blooming, conveyed grace and resilience. It was subtle, elegant, almost poetic, but while its appearance spoke softly, its story roared with intrigue. For reasons still debated among numismatic experts, a limited batch of these coins was produced with a slightly altered composition and die pressure. Some say it was an experimental run, an unnoticed deviation during the rush of Olympic coin production. Others believe it was the result of a rare minting error that passed unnoticed, hidden among thousands of common issues. What is certain, however, is that only a tiny number of these coins made it into circulation. Most people who handled them didn't notice the difference. A few may have tossed them in drawers or dropped them into fountains, never knowing they held a treasure worth a small fortune. It wasn't until a young collector named Lu Min stumbled across one at a flea market in Chengdu that the whispers began. Lu, only 22 at the time, had an eye for detail that belied his age. He noticed something peculiar about the weight, the shimmer, the tactile feel of the coin. He bought it for less than $1, thinking it might be worth a second glance. He had no idea he was holding a key to unlocking a frenzy in the numismatic world. Months later, Lu's find was verified by 2 independent coin grading agencies. They confirmed what he had suspected. This coin bore microscopic anomalies, subtle die shifts, a slightly raised edge, and an extremely rare mint mark variant, markings that would not appear in standard issues. More importantly, only 3 other examples had been documented anywhere in the world. The news exploded across collectors' forums and auction circles. The ghost variant, as it came to be known, became the talk of international coin expos. Collectors from Europe, North America, and even Japan began scouring their collections, hoping to find the elusive 5 Wu Jiao anomaly. Yet none surfaced. The rarity of this 2008 issue, now officially recognized and catalogued in elite numismatic registries, had sent its value soaring. Over the years, stories surfaced of families discovering one tucked away in an old coin purse, only to find themselves at the center of million-yuan bidding wars. Coin fairs in Hong Kong and Shanghai began featuring dedicated 5 Wu Jiao booths. Security had to be increased at some events due to the sheer excitement and volume of attendees hoping to get a glimpse, or a chance, at this mysterious half-yuan marvel. What makes the 2008 China 5 Wu Jiao coin so valuable isn't just its rarity. It's the layers of mystery that surround it. Why was it minted differently? Who authorized it? Was it intentional? A test batch? An artist's subtle rebellion? Some theories suggest that a retiring mint engraver left his final signature in the coin's design as a farewell to the craft. Others speculate that the coin was a secret commemorative issue related to the Olympics, produced under the radar and without public notice. Whatever the truth may be, the market responded with clear intensity. In 2020, one of the verified variants was sold at a private Hong Kong auction for 460,000 renminbi, nearly $65,000 at the time. Then in 2023, another specimen, graded MS68, surfaced at a Sotheby's auction in London, where a fierce international bidding war sent the final price skyrocketing to $125,000. For a coin that once bought a steamed bun on the streets of Xi'an, the journey was nothing short of extraordinary, and yet, the most incredible thing about the 2008 5 Wu Jiao coin isn't the metal or the mint. It's the story. It's the quiet lesson that even the smallest things most people overlook or toss aside, can carry immense, life-changing value. It's a reminder that history hides in plain sight, sometimes right there in the change we almost gave away. Lu Min's story didn't end with the coin. In fact, it was just the beginning, when the verification came in from the Beijing Numismatic Institute and later cross-referenced by the PCGS Asia office. The young collector found himself thrown into a whirlwind of attention he had never imagined. His quiet life in Chengdu, once centered around second-hand bookstores and weekends at the coin fair, had now transformed into scheduled interviews, television features, and invitation-only appearances at collectors' symposiums, but Lu remained humble. In a now famous interview with CCTV, he said, "It wasn't just about the money. It was the feeling that history was whispering to me through that coin." He wasn't wrong. To understand why the 2008 5 Wu Jiao coin resonated so deeply, you have to step back and see what China was going through at that time. 2008 wasn't just any year. It was the year of the Beijing Olympics, a moment that many consider to be China's grand reintroduction to the world stage. Decades of reform, development, and global outreach culminated in a spectacle watched by billions. It was a national moment of pride, unity, and precision. That same precision was expected in every aspect of production, especially in state-regulated systems like minting. Every coin, every bill, every commemorative plaque had to be flawless, a representation of the strength and pride of a rising nation. Which is why the mystery surrounding the variant Wu Jiao coin was so perplexing. How could such an anomaly occur during such a meticulously orchestrated era? Some insiders began to whisper about what they called the Olympic Shadow Run, a secret production line rumored to have been created to test new minting machinery and techniques under high pressure. While officially denied by the People's Bank of China, the theory persisted. According to unverified leaks, the special batch of Wu Jiao coins may have been part of a trial involving a new alloy or embossing technique, one that was quickly shelved after concerns about durability or cost. Whatever the truth, these coins had slipped out into the world, and now, every single one carried a myth. Collectors weren't just buying a rare object. They were buying a piece of the mystery, a sliver of speculation wrapped in precious metal. The human mind is wired to love puzzles, and the 2008 5 Wu Jiao offered one of the most captivating puzzles modern coinage had seen. As demand grew, so did the fakes. Counterfeiters, seeing the explosive interest, began flooding markets with lookalikes. They tried to mimic the subtle raised edge, replicate the coin's weight, even artificially age the metal to resemble the originals. But professional graders knew better. They studied the exact ridge patterns, measured the nanoscopic microtext inconsistencies, and tested the magnetic field signatures that differed slightly from the standard batch. It became a game of cat and mouse, one where knowledge became as valuable as the coin itself. Meanwhile, Lu Min was fielding offers from all over the world. Private collectors from Switzerland, Saudi Arabia, and even a royal family member from Southeast Asia reached out discreetly, offering 6 figures for his coin. But Lu wasn't ready to part with it. "Some things you don't sell," he said. "You pass them on." True to his word, he eventually loaned the coin to the National Museum of China, where it was placed in a bulletproof glass case under soft golden lighting. Tourists from across the country, grandparents holding children's hands, students with wide eyes, lined up to see it. It sat there, quietly, like a national secret finally given light. and every day, people would whisper in amazement, "A coin, worth more than a house?" Yes. But only to those who understood its story. Another element that added to the mystique of the coin was the design itself. The chrysanthemum, long considered a symbol of nobility and integrity in Chinese culture, suddenly took on a new meaning. Historians began debating if the choice of that flower was truly coincidental. It all started on a humid afternoon in Penang, when a retired schoolteacher named Mr. Haroon wandered through the Sunday flea market, as he did every weekend since his retirement. Most vendors knew him, not because he bought much, but because he was always there with a calm smile and a curious eye. He had a habit of sifting through old books, dusty keychains, and stacks of forgotten currency, not for wealth but for nostalgia. That day, he picked up a small paper pouch filled with old Malaysian coins. 20 ringgit, the seller said casually. Mr. Haroon handed over the cash with little hesitation. To him, it was never about the value. He enjoyed the feel of metal in his hands, the way it echoed stories untold. He didn't realize that nestled in that pouch, dull with the grime of time, was a coin that would change not only his life, but also the world of Southeast Asian numismatics forever. When he returned home, he laid out the coins on his rattan table, the afternoon light casting soft golden beams across the metal surfaces. Most of the coins were common, 1970s, 80s, worn and scratched. But then, one coin caught his eye. A 2018 Malaysia 20-cent piece that looked different. Sharper. Crisper. And most striking of all, it had a subtle doubling around the hibiscus motif, Malaysia's national flower. He tilted it under the light. The lines shimmered with an odd iridescence, and the font of the word, Bank Negara Malaysia, seemed minutely stretched, as if caught in motion. He leaned in closer, his heart skipping a beat. Something about it was undeniably unusual. He placed the coin inside a tiny Ziploc bag, just to keep it safe, and made a mental note to show it to a friend who used to work at a museum in Kuala Lumpur. What Mr. Haroon had unknowingly found was one of the most elusive minting anomalies in Malaysian currency history, a 2018 20-cent coin with a rare die clash error, possibly part of an experimental batch never meant for public circulation. To understand why this coin was extraordinary, we must look back at 2018. It was a turbulent year for Malaysia. A dramatic political shift saw the return of Mahathir Mohamad to power at age 92, marking the fall of the long-standing Barisan Nasional government. There was national introspection, economic recalibration, and reforms echoing through all institutions, including, interestingly enough, the Royal Mint of Malaysia. That year, there were whispers, barely whispers, of test runs for updated security features to be used in future currency releases. Enhanced laser etching, microtextured layering, and a new alloy mixture meant to withstand Southeast Asia's intense humidity. These trials, as rumored, were applied briefly on a small batch of 20-cent coins, but the project was shelved. Why? No one knows for certain. Some claimed there were inconsistencies in the new die production. Others said the government's shifting priorities killed the upgrade before it could launch. Official records remain vague, referring only to internal adjustments to minting operations. What's clear, however, is that a tiny number of those experimental coins escaped into circulation, and Mr. Haroon had found one. Word traveled slowly, as it often does in the numismatic world. Mr. Haroon's friend at the museum took one look at the coin and paused. He took out a magnifier, then another. He called a contact in the Numismatic Society of Malaysia. Soon, the coin was shipped to Singapore, where a panel of Southeast Asia's top coin experts examined it with microscopes and spectrometers. Their verdict, authentic and possibly unique. The announcement sent ripples through collectors' circles. Articles appeared in niche currency magazines. YouTube videos popped up speculating how many such coins might be out there. Forums buzzed with theories, ranging from accidental mint errors to deliberate test run leaks. A collector from Dubai offered $50,000. Another from Hong Kong doubled it. And yet, Mr. Haroon refused to sell. He didn't want fame. He didn't want fortune. He wanted the coin to be understood, to be appreciated. That's when the National Bank of Malaysia took interest. They invited him to a private meeting in Kuala Lumpur. In a small conference room surrounded by portraits of past governors and quiet marble walls, Mr. Haroon placed the coin on a white silk cloth. The bank officials leaned in. Silence fell. And then came the questions: where did you get it, was it circulated, do you have more? He answered honestly. Just a flea market. A forgotten pouch. They thanked him, documented the coin, and politely asked if they could buy it for the National Archive. He said no. Instead, he proposed something else: let the coin be exhibited, just for a few months, so the public could see what hidden stories Malaysia still held within its currency, and so it was. In 2019, under soft lighting at the Numismatics Gallery in KL, the 2018 20 Sen anomaly sat in a crystal case. Schoolchildren pressed their noses to the glass. Elderly visitors smiled and nodded in knowing awe. It became a symbol of imperfection, of discovery, and of the stories that even small things can carry. Meanwhile, coin grading agencies took notice. When the American Numismatic Grading Guild finally received the coin for inspection, they awarded it an unprecedented MS70+ gem flaw designation, citing unmatched clarity in the hibiscus petals and a shadow layering along the lettering, caused by a double strike that had never before been seen in Malaysian coins. Speculation exploded. Some said it was one of just 3 in existence. Others argued that only a single specimen had ever reached public hands. Scavenger hunts began. Collectors turned over drawers, shops even dug through family jars, hoping to find another. But none emerged. It became known, unofficially, as the whisper coin, because, as one collector poetically put it, you don't see it shout its value, you feel it whisper its history. By 2024, the buzz had reached global levels. A private collector from Switzerland hosted a sealed bid auction for the coin, offering a platform for only the most elite of bidders. Representatives from Europe, the Middle East, and even a U.S. museum logged in anonymously. The bids climbed, $75,000, $92,000, $110,000, and then, the gavel fell, $115,000, all for a 20 Sen coin. But if you ask the people who followed its journey, they'll tell you, it wasn't just about money. It was about the surprise tucked in a moment. About discovery in the ordinary. About how even something as small as a coin can carry the weight of a nation's unspoken history, and somewhere, in a quiet home in Penang, Mr. Haroon still walks the Sunday market. Still smiles at dusty stalls. Because he knows, there's always another story waiting to be found. His name was Insik Rahim, a quiet man with a silver mustache and a gait that spoke of decades standing at machines. For 38 years, he had worked inside the Royal Mint of Malaysia, seeing coins come and go, each with its own quirks and secrets. He watched political figures change, currency designs evolve, but never spoke publicly, until the news of the auction reached him through his grandson's phone. He stared at the coin's photo on the screen for nearly 5 minutes before he said softly, that's one of the ghost batch. His grandson, puzzled, asked him to explain. Insik Rahim leaned back, eyes glassy with memory. In early 2018, he recalled, there was a sudden order from above. They were told to mint a small run of 20 Sen coins with a new blend of copper and nickel alloy, imported from a supplier in Germany. The reason was vague. Some said it was to test long-term corrosion resistance, others believed it was a response to rising global metal prices. Only 5,000 pieces were struck. Each batch was closely monitored, and unusually, every coin was supposed to be destroyed after the test. But something went wrong. A machine misfeed caused a handful to be pushed into the main production line. At the time, it was chaos. No one could confirm how many coins escaped into real circulation. The batch had no unique mint mark. No visible identifier. But the shimmer, the way the light danced off the surface, that was unmistakable. Rahim had told no one. The mint culture was strict. Breaking silence could mean losing his pension. But seeing the coin, verified, treasured, and honored, he felt a strange pride, mixed with relief. His secret, long buried, was now out in the open. Meanwhile, in the bustling city of Tokyo, a Malaysian-born numismatist named Dr. Ida Yusuf, currently lecturing at Waseda University, caught wind of the coin's reappearance. She had long suspected something unique had occurred in 2018 but had never been able to prove it. Aida's doctoral thesis had focused on Southeast Asian coin anomalies, and this coin became the missing piece she never knew existed. She flew back to Malaysia that summer, requesting access to the Numismatic Society's archives, museum documentation, and, most importantly, permission to examine the coin up close. With gloved hands, under high magnification lenses and XRF scanners, she observed details missed even by previous graders. There were faint microridges around the edge, almost like fingerprints. Not human, but mint machine calibration patterns, suggesting a brief use of an experimental die press. She gasped, this wasn't just a rare coin. It was a technological outlier, a phantom signature of Malaysia's briefly attempted leap into next-generation minting. In a conference streamed across 3 continents, she presented her findings. Numismatists from Europe, the US, Japan, and Singapore watched in awe as she built the case. The 2018 Malaysia 20 Sen coin was not an error. It was a glimpse into a future that never materialized. Collectors became obsessed. Prices for Malaysian coins from 2018